الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. My brothers and sisters in Islam, I greet you Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confers upon us all the true beautiful meanings of salam. My baby Ramla de Preez, I call her Ramilki de Preez. So Ramilki de Preez, when I greet her, she says Assalamu alaikum forever. Why not? Why can't I get salam and rahmah and barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forever? So I just say Ameen, I love you forever. Okay, so she learned this new word forever, so now it must be in every sentence. So, ladies and gentle people, let us look at point number 45, points number 45, 6, and 7. Number 45, to fulfill the vows that have been made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a very, very important thing that if we take an oath that I am going to do X, Y, and Z, we have to do it, right? This is why we must be very careful what we say. One thing is having a firm intention, but to say, Wallahi, I'm going to, or Qassam, I'm going to, Uqsim Billah, that I'm going to, right? And you don't. Then one has to give a kaffarah. Now, that's another fiqh discussion. I'm not going to go into that discussion. We should avoid taking oaths unless we are definitely going to do it. In fact, there's no need to take an oath to do something. I swear that I'm going to XYZ. However, many people for Hajj, they would do something like this, and some of the ulama encourage it. That if Allah brings me safely back from Hajj, I'm going to slaughter a sheep. Or if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lets me pass my exams, then I'm going to fast for 2 weeks. Or if I manage to achieve XYZ, I'm going to give charity, or I'm going to read 10 rakats of Nafil Salah. It becomes binding on you to do that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfills that nadr of yours, called a nadr, right? So it's not going to change taqdeer by taking another, okay? It's not going to change taqdeer, but it's just a means of expressing gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And let us, if we've taken any oaths that I am going to X, Y, Z, or I swear by Allah before I am so old I'm going to achieve, or brah, may Allah protect us, takes a qasam he'll never get married, or he takes a qasam that whichever woman he gets married to before he completes his Hifdul Quran, then that woman must get 5 talaqs. Don't give more than one. But that's valid, that's binding. So, bro, if you've done something dumb like that, please memorize your Quran Sunnah now. Otherwise, you're not going to get married. So, if a person has taken an oath, it becomes binding on him to do so. If a person has taken a vow, it becomes binding to do so. Like a person vows, for instance, that if I ever commit the sin again, then I'm going to give so much money in charity. Now, every time you sin, or if you do commit that sin again, you must give that amount of money in charity. Or you take, whenever I commit the sin, then I will give. Now, every time you commit that sin, you have to give so much money in charity. Brothers and sisters in Islam, it's very, very serious. So, part of our iman is if we have taken these vows or we have taken an oath, then we have to fulfill it. Part of our iman. Point number 46. If you've taken an oath, you have to fulfill the oath. So one is a vow, another. If so, such and such thing happens, then that's gonna go. Then I'll do X, Y, Z. If such and such a thing, if I achieve this, then I'll do that. That's called a vow, another. Okay, a qasam, an oath, is a wallahi I will, or uqsum billah, I'm going to. You understand? So normally we say wallahi or qassam, South African style. Qassam, I'm going to. Think about it. Qassam, I'm going to kill this, bro. Now, you said you took an oath, and now that oath has to be fulfilled. You can't fulfill that oath because it's sinful. So to fulfill oaths that are not sinful is part of our iman. Again, I'm going to tell you, don't take vows to do things and don't take oaths to do things, because why? Vowing that if I achieve XYZ, or if such and such happens, then I'm going to, is not going to change your taqdeer at all, right? You've just made something binding on yourself, and you've put yourself in a situation where you can go against the command of Allah, and you could break that vow. Okay, a person takes an oath. He takes an oath that he's going to do X, Y, Z, or Wallah is going to kill this, that kind of a thing, right? Then it is compulsory upon you to fulfill your vow or your oath, as long as it is not sinful. Like a lot of people, they tell you things like, "I don't believe you'll do this. Wallahi, I'll do it." What now? Wallahi, I'll do it becomes an oath. You have to now go and do it. Now I do stuff like that to prove points to people. However, if you've done it, then please ensure that you fulfill those oaths, you fulfill those vows. A vow is different from an oath, right? Remember, a vow is another. If such and such thing happens, then I'm going to. You tell Allah that if I have a son, I will call him. Oh Allah, if you grant me out, that's called another. If I return from Hajj safe and sound, I will XYZ. If I complete my hifz, XYZ. If all my debt gets paid, I will XYZ. That kind of a thing. This is called a vow. An oath. Wallahi, I'm going to. Qasam, I'm going to. Uqsum billah, I'm going to. Either which way, you have to fulfill them. And as long as they are not sinful, you cannot take an oath to kill somebody. And then, no, I took a qasam. Allah says I have to fulfill my qasam. You can't fulfill a sinful oath. If you've broken a vow or you've broken an oath, then you have to give the applicable kaffarah. That is a separate issue. Please do consult with a qualified alim or imam if you fear that you may have broken an oath, so that we can assist you to pay the kafara for that oath, or to give the kafara for that oath. That is a fiqhi discussion. I don't want to go into this because we are discussing a tasawwuf point here. And number 47 is if you have broken an oath, broken a vow, or you have not fulfilled an oath or not fulfilled the vow, you put a timeline to the vow and you didn't achieve it or you didn't fulfill it, then you have to give the kafara. This is part of our iman. So vows, oaths, and kafara, all of this was working in hand. Remember, we said a vow, it's called a nadr, noon, dhal, ra, nadr. You take a vow that if such and such a thing happens, or if I achieve that, or if so and so does that, then I am going to. If Allah gives me, I'm going to. If Allah lets me do, then I'm going to. That's called a nadr. You have to fulfill your nadr. An oath is you say qasam, wallahi, uqsum billah, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. For whatever reason it may be, it becomes binding. What? As long as it is not sinful. If it is sinful, it is not valid. It's not, you're not allowed to fulfill it. Whether there's kafara or not is a fiqhi discussion, which you can discuss with an imam. And the third point, which is goes hand in hand with this, if you have broken a vow or you have broken an oath, then brothers and sisters in Islam, you have to give the applicable kafara. Now, I don't know what you've said and done, but if you in your heart feel that you have maybe taken an oath to do something and you didn't do it, you took a qasam to do something, you didn't do it, please consult with your imam and determine whether you need to give a kafara and what exactly that kafara is. Number 48, ladies and gentle people, is a very, very contentious issue, I think, especially for the ladies, but under the context of modern fashion. It is part of our iman, number 48, to cover those parts of our body which are fard to cover. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty of a quick fiqh discussion. For a man, nobody argues. Navel to knee must be covered, right? The argument only is from which part of the navel must be included until which part of the knee. So the Hanafi scholars will say from under the navel until under the knee, and the Shafi'i scholar says from above the navel till above the knee. I'm going to suggest to everybody, please, from above the navel to under the knee. That way everybody's happy. The poem. Okay? So let us ensure that we keep our aura covered properly. Now, I want the ladies to focus on this point here. Aura. What is the fard compulsory part of my body that has to be covered? For a man, above my navel, we've just explained, to under the knee. Navel to knee. Okay, cool. That's aura. Bare minimum. I'm sure the Appas now know which direction I'm taking this conversation. What is the aura of a woman? Now we're going to come to the nitty gritties here. So, bottom line is, everybody argues and contends that face and hands are excluded from the aura. And how do we conclude this? Because it is not compulsory to cover your aura. It's not compulsory to cover more than your aura in salah. Yes or no? More than your aura doesn't have to be covered in salah. So the fact that your face and your hands can be open during your salah, we can safely conclude that your face and your hands are not part of your aura. Huh? Huh? However, ladies and gentlemen, does that mean that publicly we're allowed to walk around with our only covering our aura? I mean, picture a man insisting I will only walk outside my house with my lungi on covering navel to knee because that is my aura. I don't have to cover anything else. I don't think there's a wife on this earth that will be happy to hear that. And there's obviously at the beach. And by the way, for the men, it applies equally when you're at the beach. Rugby shorts, no. Your Speedo, whatever, I hope nobody wears Speedo. Please, it's so 1960s. Please don't wear Speedos at the swimming pool. Please. Okay? You can't wear the shorts, mid-thigh shorts. Your aura is not covered. It's haram for another person to see that aura. It's aura. Okay? So, may Allah grant us tawfiq to dress respectably. Don't fall prey to fashion. Sunnah is everlasting. It has been fashion, it has been cool, it has been rewarding and loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala since Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam's time, maybe even before that. Okay? And is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Just ensure that we wear our sunnah libas. Please, men. But now, back to our discussion. Ladies, how would you feel if your husband or your son or your brother or your father with his boob and hair insists, I will only cover my aura in public because I don't have to cover anything more than my navel to nobody is going to be happy or nobody's going to find that acceptable because why? He's covering bare minimum. Now we look at Kitab of Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala. And again, you don't have to like what I'm saying, but I am going to say it to you. It is my duty as an alim, it is my duty as the imam, it's my duty as a Muslim to enjoin that which is good and forbid that which is wrong. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala in Kitab states, Kitab was his magnum opus. He stated that it is not permissible for a woman to go into the company of non-mahram men, that means public places, or into private spaces where there are non-mahram men with her face uncovered. A woman has to cover her face in public. Whether you like it or not, ladies and gentle people, maaf. You don't have to be happy hearing the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the point of the test. We have to do it whether we like it or not. My beard. I don't necessarily want to grow a beard. I would prefer short. In fact, I'd prefer it off. I'd prefer a mohawk. What can I do? I'd prefer a tattoo if I could have one because that's just the style. Unfortunately, and yes, you can argue, and I would agree with you that it's my non-Muslim past heritage because I was a heavy metal bra and all that aside. We're saying now, hypothetically speaking, I would go for it if I could, right? But I can't. So I will have to control my nafs and I will have to wear sunnah libas and I will grow my beard and I will keep my hair according to the sunnah and I will keep my skin clean. Because why? This is what Allah wants from me. I only have to live in this dunya for a short period of time and then khalas, the test is over. So we don't have to like what we're hearing. But I'm going to tell you nonetheless. And I'm going to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to inspire all of you to cover your face in public. And you know what? Let me tell you a secret. Mm, mm, mm. Please don't tell me it's difficult. I don't believe you. You know why? Because you're currently wearing a face mask in public wherever you go. Let us just make the intention that we will continue to wear the face mask, only the Islamic one, after the lockdown, after the face mask rule is lifted. Think about it, brothers and sisters in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has just proven to the entire populace of the world that the women who say it's too difficult to cover their faces in public were not exactly being 100% truthful in their statement. You understand? Because they're all doing it now because they have to. I contend that before the lockdown and before the face mask instruction, you still had to, right? Whether you didn't is another story. May Allah forgive all of us for all our shortcomings. I'm not judging anybody because I have my own Jurassic Park and Qabristan in my closet that I have to sort out. You have your own stories to sort out. All I'm saying is, please, my brothers and sisters in Islam, let us take the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seriously. If I could manage the entire 110 almost days of lockdown with a mask in public, inshallah, I can continue after lockdown, and the ladies can continue to wear the face mask face veil according to the Sharia. May Allah give us tawfiq. Actually, I even thought to myself today that, you know what, maybe I should also just continue wearing the face mask in public. Because as much as it's not permissible for a man to look at strange ghair mahram women, it's not permissible for women to look at strange ghair mahram men either. Yet we do it. If anybody felt offended by what I just said, I'm sorry. In fact, I'm not sorry. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all tawfiq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I didn't mean to offend anybody, but we do say the truth. We don't judge anybody. You do what you have to do. I'm going to try my best to do what I have to do. And we keep asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for acceptance. But please do give some serious consideration to the fact that, you know, if I can wear a face mask in public and my life hasn't changed that dramatically, surely I can continue wearing my face mask in public after the lockdown. May Allah give us tawfiq and understanding. May Allah bless us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah protect us. And most importantly, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspire us, draw us nearer to Him, open our hearts to accept the inspirations, to accept His guidance, to accept His commands, and to do so and to fulfill those commands willingly and happily. The hadith says, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى تكون هواه تبعا لما جئت به أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. None of you is going to have true iman. None of you is a true believer until your heart's desire isn't exactly what I brought to mankind. What the guidance, that the teachings that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought, that is what we must truly want from the bottom of our heart. Then we will be true believers. And Allah grant me first and all of us tawfiq and understanding. Whatever I've said that is correct is from Allah, the barakah of His Rasul, and the great benefit I've derived from my teachers. Whatever I have said that is incorrect is only from my nafs and from shaitan, and Allah and His Rasul are absolved of that completely. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.